So hot take number one, the trust paradox. The Edelman's trust barometer showed only 58% of people trust their bosses. And that's lower than stranger level of trust. So why are leaders struggling with trust and the perception of trust in their organizations today?
Well, I think it's twofold. I think number one, I think most leaders, if you talk to them, assume, unfortunately, sometimes according to that study, erroneously, that there's more trust built in than there actually is.
Yep.
Now, that's not always the case, but I think a lot of leaders will over assume, hey, I think my people trust me, but don't really know. And the second part of it is it's hard. If you don't trust your boss, if you don't trust your manager, you're not usually going to walk in and say, hey, I don't trust you, right? So it becomes this weird conundrum. And employees also have a certain level of responsibility in this, not to take the bosses and the managers off the hook, but it's like, okay, it's a two-way street. We got to be communicating. And I think the third component of it is that just we're together less than ever these days. We're moving faster. We're connecting on email and Slack and text and Teams and Zoom and all the things. Great technology, just harder to build rapport and trust and really sort of deeper connections. So I think all of those things factor into it.
I'd say hot take number two is that vulnerability is really the ultimate performance hack. Qualtrics had a survey as well that vulnerable leaders saw 25% higher engagement, and they were twice as likely to exceed financial targets. Like some really impactful numbers.
It's a huge differentiator. I mean, I think of, Brene Brown, who's been studying vulnerability for a couple decades and has helped mainstream a lot of the concepts around it that are important based on her research from the University of Houston. I love her definition of vulnerability. She says vulnerability is risk, emotional exposure, and uncertainty. And so think about being able to embrace risk, emotional exposure, and uncertainty. Now, all three of those things by their nature are a bit uncomfortable, right? I don't particularly love risk. I definitely don't love uncertainty, but they're part of life. They're part of leadership. Emotional exposure. Now, I happen to be someone who's relatively comfortable being emotionally exposed. Some people are less so. But even if I emotionally expose myself, Andrew, to you, you could use it against me. You could judge me, laugh at me.
And emotional intelligence, it seems to me, is one of, if not your best, competitive advantages, right? I mean, there was a Gartner study in 2025 showing trends with the current workforce and the workforce ecosystems. AI is going to handle a lot more technical tasks, very tactical, transactional things. But organizations really still desperately need emotional intelligence. So, will EQ be the only thing separating great leaders from obsolete ones that are really only focused on, adapting to technology right now, and that's the key strategy?
Yeah, look, I mean, again, I'm biased in this regard. I've thought for years that emotional intelligence is a key differentiator. I think it's going to become more so, like what I was just saying, like prioritizing human connection. Because if you think of EQ, what is it really? It's self-awareness and self-management, right? So a lot of what you and I were talking about too is like, how do I manage myself? How do I deal with the different stress, emotions, challenge, overwhelm, everything that's coming up? And then it's about social awareness and relationship management. Now, look,
AI is great at giving you recognition. And if I need a shout out, I just launch Claude or Chat, and I'm like, if I need to feel good pretty quick, it'll do that. And I think it underscores where if you're in the middle of your workday and you're dealing with some issue, and you launch Chat to get like recognition or support, I think it underscores that there's something broken. Only 31% of employees think that recognition programs work at their organizations, but 94% of companies have these in place.
Well, look, I mean, recognition is important, and I think it is important that those 94% of those companies have those recognition programs, and the 6% that don't probably should work on some aspect of it. The feedback, though, that like 30-some% of people say they think they work is because they're not always effective in the way that they're set up, and not everybody gets recognized because we can't. Like if everybody gets a trophy, the trophy doesn't mean anything, so we have to be thoughtful and deliberate about who gets recognized, how they get recognized, what they get recognized for. In my work and in my research around recognition and appreciation over the years, what I've learned is there's an important subtle but significant distinction between recognition and appreciation.